What's the most powerful human emotion? Fear of loss. If the seller says, well, I'll just rent it out, or maybe I'll sell it to the next guy. A lot of times people think they can get more money. I'm just going to wait and maybe get a better offer. So that sets you up perfectly for when you follow up in a month or 3 weeks and you call the seller back. Hey, Mr. Seller, this is Matt, just calling you back. I told you I wanted to follow up periodically. We really like the house. It fits our investment criteria perfectly. And I know you were looking for some other buyers, but I just had a question for you. Did you end up selling the house? Now, that's a powerful question, because if the answer's no, it just completely moves the momentum into your favor. Okay. So you always want to ask that question. Has the house sold yet? Because now when they say no, you look like the best option. Now you could dig in deeper and say, well, why do you think that is? Real estate market's pretty hot. Why do you think it's not selling? And let them name off the things why it's not selling. Again, stacking the odds in your favor. Again, guys, if you can't put it together, you keep following up. My Podio Powerhouse Max has all this stuff built into it. So a lot of these follow-ups are being done in the background without you even having to be involved. But if you don't have that, then you've got to create a manual system. That's why these CRMs aren't cheap, but they're worth the money that you pay, because your time is worth something, right? You spend whatever it is on a CRM. It's like, at what point does the crossover happen where, hey, I just put more time into this than what it was even. And I can, with this CRM, I can hit 100 follow-ups a month without no effort. With my situation, that 100 follow-ups takes me 40 hours or 50 hours of work. At some point, it just makes more sense to do the automation. If you don't have that in place, then you've got to use some other kind of system, and like spreadsheets or something along those lines. When you look at all your deals sitting in front of you, there's 5 or 10, and it couldn't be higher once you've been in the business longer. There'll be 5 or so deals that you're like, these are my most important ones because these are the ones I'm closest on. Those should be forefront of your mind, and you can maybe prioritize those in a spreadsheet. When somebody says I'm going to just rent it out, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll say, I actually like this one. And the reason I like it is because you can toggle over to third-party stories to create a fear of loss. Okay. So if the house is vacant, this is different. If the house is rented, you can always use a third-party story. You can say something like, okay, that makes sense. I do know people that are successful with renting, but what I've noticed a lot is we've recently had some people that had a house that they were renting, and the tenant stopped paying. And so they ended up calling us back because the tenants, were 4 months behind on rent. And now the owner's dealing with an eviction, and they think there's a bunch of damage on the inside. So renting is always an option, but from what we can see, there might be some momentum changing in the rental world where more and more tenants are stopping paying. So you can use what's called a third-party story, because if you don't use it as a third-party story and you just say, man, that's a bad idea, these tenants are gonna screw you over and not pay, that's attacking the seller and saying you're wrong, you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about. Instead, using a third-party story, you're just basically saying the same message without coming straight at the seller. Hey, Mr. Seller, I know a lot of people obviously, are doing some renting, but what we've noticed is we're getting a lot more tired landlords calling us because they had good tenants and the economy's changing, inflation's causing people to get squeezed. And so now they're struggling getting paid on rent, and all of a sudden a good thing turned to a bad thing. So they called us. So, that's always an option. But if you don't want to take that risk, like some other people are choosing to go our method or our route, I just want to let you know that we're here for you. But the other thing is you can also say, and this works with anything, guys, is always create scarcity and urgency, because you don't want to be the offer forever. You could finalize that with somebody. You can't just leave it open-ended and just saying, hey, we're always your option. Hey, Mr. Seller, we're still interested today. Now, I can't promise you that, in a week or 2 weeks from now that we'd still be interested in the house. A lot can happen. The economy is kind of a very strange environment right now, and my partner's a little bit nervous about what everything is going on. So if you call me in 2 weeks, I can't promise you that my offer would be the same. But today, my partner's demanded me to put a house under contract, and we really like yours, even though we're talking to a couple other people that are also motivated to sell. So you got to remember that. You want to create some scarcity and urgency. Okay.